Yes, the rhythm's a rebel. Without a pause, I'm lowering my level.
All right, marking its third time on the show, Public Enemy.
Well deserved.
So yeah, Corrupt picked this record, and also Tech Nine, who we just had last week, also picked this record. So it's great to have it once again. And yeah, tell us about it.
This is Philadelphia. This is when this came out, people just lost their minds.
Yeah.
Because, just the horns, and it was just like, it was so chaotic and
Yeah.
crazy and insane. And it was, to me, it's my favorite song of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just has that power, and it has the Barkley line. I mean, what more? It was the pinnacle of that. It
Yeah.
was. That's what this song is
Yeah.
Charles Barkley.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's weird, in Philly, the first PE album didn't really hit,
Right.
right? But then this came out in between the first two albums,
Yep.
the first and the second album.
Right.
And Philly just adopted it as like theirs. And he would wear a Sixers starter when he performed. So even though they were a New York-based group,
Right.
we really had this like connection with them in Philly. And their shows at the Spectrum were always like really incredible, from when they opened up for the Beastie Boys to when they were headlining
Right.
their own tour. And you would just hear this song coming from every single car. We had this place called Chestnut Street where all the record stores and sneaker shops were. It was kind of like the urban center. And like every car would come down just blasting us. And the 808s are mixed so perfectly on this record. Everyone thinks about the high-pitched sirens
Right.
and stuff. But the low end of this record is really special too.
Yeah.
Milo, were you so when you heard this record, were you picking apart the production part of it? Like, were you putting the pieces together? Like, I personally didn't. I was looking at it from the dance floor part of it with the funky drummer in the background, and I had no idea where the horn came from.
Right.
But from a production producer point of view, were you like, oh, that's from this, I like how they did that, blah, blah, blah?
I think in '88, I was still just primarily DJing and not thinking about the producer side of it. Although we did kind of discover James Brown records around then, so I
Yeah.
was like interested, in samples. It just wasn't like my main focus,
Right, okay.
I remember one part was later finding out that the rock and roll was, Chub Rock, and
Right.
not really realizing what it was at first, but that there's some story, I forget where it is, about how they found that. They had different cuts, and then they finally found that or something.
Yeah.
Tech Nine talks about that, and I was during the last when we did with him. I always thought that was a guitar. I didn't know it was a Transformer scratch.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a funkiest guitar. Like,
Yeah.
that sounds really dope. I always thought it was a guitar.
Yeah, that was incredibly groundbreaking, Do you guys, I personally think It Takes a Nation of Millions is the greatest hip-hop album of all time. Yes, no?
Yeah, that's in my top
Yeah.
3, and it depends on what year it is.
Yeah.
And we also love the B-side, this one mix, You're Gonna Get Yours, the
Yeah.
Terminator X Getaway mix.
Yeah.
Right.
It's some of the funkiest scratching ever. And so I recently tweeted it out that I thought that this was the most underrated DJ performance ever on Wax, and I CC'd Chuck D and Terminator X, and all these people responded that it wasn't Terminator doing the
Oh,
cuts.
really?
Yes, it was another guy, and I was very surprised.
Oh,
Wow.
snap. Well, tell me about the sticker here on the 329.
Yep, that's one of the original record stores I was talking about on Chestnut Street.
Yeah.
It's called Sound of Market. There was Sound of Market 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And these stores were usually owned by Israelis.
Uh-huh.
So there would be an electronic section in the front, and
Right.
then in the back would be all the records. And as you can see, it cost $3.29 for a single.
Damn, what a price.
Towards the end, it was what, like $5.29?
Yeah,
towards the
like
end?
$4.99.
$5.99 for 12 inches.
$5.99. Yeah, I got
we're
some
talking like
$5.99,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. When they made 12
The
inches.
closer, from being from the West Coast, I noticed the closer you got to the East Coast, the lower the records price went.
Really?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally like in
Shipping.
I was in Arizona. It was like $4.99. To see a $3.99, I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Right.
But I visited the Wiz in New York a couple times, and you could see a $3.20 an album for $4.99. I was like, what? Like, yeah.
Nice. All right, Public Enemy, Rebel Without a Pause.